Hello, my name's Paul and welcome to another one of my productivity training videos. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I use Apple Notes. Now, if you have any questions, please leave me a comment below and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have and start a discussion around how you use Notes. So, I guess the first thing to address is why do I use Apple Notes? If you go back into my YouTube videos or my blog, you will see I was actually a big Evernote user for a long time. That was back when Apple Notes wasn't really that powerful, it was pretty basic, and Evernote was kind of one of the first really great note-taking apps. But then, over a few years, Apple put a lot of time and effort into Notes on the iPad, the iPhone, and on the Mac as well. It just came a long way, and it became a really good note-taking app. And so I thought, why don't I just try migrating everything from Evernote into Apple Notes and see if I like it. I was kind of attracted to the simple design, it's quite minimal, whereas Evernote feels a little bit clunky, there's quite a lot going on. And I just thought, why don't I just try this, simple note-taking system? And I migrated everything across, really easy to do, and I've never looked back. I'm really happy with Apple Notes. It works really well in the Apple ecosystem as well, because I'm on the Mac, iPad, I have it on my phone as well. I can just be on Safari and I can save a link, or I can right click and save an image, and just getting stuff into Apple Notes in the Apple ecosystem is really easy. So yeah, I've been really happy with Apple Notes. There are some other great note-taking apps out there like Evernote, there's Bear and Ulysses, and there's always new note-taking apps coming out. I don't really pay too much attention to them, purely because I'm just pretty happy with Apple Notes right now. So what do I put into Apple Notes? Well, if you follow me at all, you might know that I use Asana quite a lot as well. And so what goes into Apple Notes versus something like Asana? And what I would say is Apple Notes is really like a digital brain, or it's basically like a digital notebook. Here's a Moleskine that I've had for a few years. I occasionally like writing in, like a physical notebook, or I like doodling, or not doodling, but doing diagrams and brainstorming. Sometimes just I have the urge to just use a pen and paper, in which case I'll use a notebook. But a lot of the time, I'm out and about or just working on my computer, and I just want to quickly open a note to jot down ideas, or quite honestly, a lot of the time it's just for storing random bits of information. So here, for example, here is a squat program, some screenshots that my coach sent me from the gym. Here was the program that he got me to do. So rather than saving these pictures in my camera roll, I put them into a note here. Here's a receipt for like my MacBook repair. I could have saved this into my Finder, into my documents, but it's not really an important receipt that I want to keep forever, so I kind of just threw it into Apple Notes. Golf tips, these might be bad tips, but just some things that help me when I'm playing golf, just putting in things I like to think about, and some tips that I picked up while watching some YouTube videos. So just random ideas and things. I use it for journaling. What else have I got in here? A bit of a checklist when we moved the house, just some last minute stuff we needed to pack up before we moved. So really my use of notes is pretty random, just for storing random bits of information, jotting down ideas and things. Where I might use something like Asana instead is if I want to keep notes related to an actual task or a project that I'm working on. Because Asana is where my work really lives, I would keep those notes in Asana. This I would find is used slightly less frequently. So let me talk you through the different notebooks that I have. So starting with personal, this is just random, I guess just personal stuff. Yeah, so here's that squat program. I've got things like the new office, stuff I needed to sort for new office, and ideas for setting up this space around me. Like here's a screenshot or a picture I found on Instagram, some articles and things, and monitors that I was looking into. Here was some results from a CrossFit competition that I was working on, and the workouts that we had to do, and my ideas for how we were going to do them. So just kind of brainstorming, really. Then I have a notebook for property, so related to anything to do with our house. So it's got a lot of receipts in here for like the electrician, sorting our hot water cylinder. Actually, it's a lot of receipts and things to do with renovations. So I was looking at blinds. Here are the prices for different blinds that I saw at the DIY store. So just random stuff to do with the house, really. I have a notebook for journaling. I'm going to blur this part of the video. I don't want people to be reading some of this personal stuff. But basically, I use Apple Notes as a personal journal. I don't journal according to any kind of frequency. I just sort of journal when I feel the need to. If I want to get something off my mind, I can just open a note and just kind of brain dump what I'm thinking into an Apple Note. I also have a folder here called manual, basically like an instruction manual. So sometimes I want to store things like how to do this, or here's like pipe drive variations and the revenue types that I have set up in my system and what they need to be used for. So if you like, this is kind of like for documenting standard operating procedures and processes really. So things I say no to, how to handle GST payments and things like coding rules in my accounting software, a list of potential contractors that I've worked with, that kind of thing. Then I have a notebook for everything to do with my business. So this is just a bit like the personal one, just random ideas and stuff I want to remember or stuff I'm thinking about. This is just a notebook related to all the work that I'm doing. So I've got some sales scripts. This was a really good tweet by Jason Zirk that I was just found quite motivating, so I kind of saved that in here. Looking at some pricing tables and how I might change my pricing for different courses and things. What else have we got down here? A bit of a content strategy from this guy that I follow, brainstorming ideas. So it's, again, a bit like the digital version of my Moleskine notebook, but for my business. Similarly, for my website, business and website, I mean, they're kind of the same, but this is everything to do with my website. So I've got here some of the custom CSS that I've added to my website. I've actually saved kind of a backup here into a note. Same thing here, some like HTML code and CSS that I want to keep a backup of. I think I was just planning the layout of a different web page here. Actually, that was on the iPad. Again, some more code. Actually, I keep a lot of code in here, like backups of CSS and HTML that I want to keep, kind of goes into this website one. And then finally, I have this reference folder. This is where I put reference material like useful images and a lot of articles as well. So this was a really useful kind of copy or writing structure or kind of bit of advice that I found on Twitter that I thought was quite useful. I've got a sales script model here called The Perfect Close. That was actually from a book that I recently read. How to solve a Rubik's Cube, which I have in front of me. So I actually watched the YouTube video, which I've linked down here, and these are all the algorithms to solve a Rubik's Cube, which is quite useful. Instruction manuals. This is the instruction manual for our vacuum cleaner. And so rather than keeping all of the instruction manuals for things that you buy, when we buy something new, like a vacuum cleaner, I actually download the digital instruction manual, and I keep that instead of having lots of bits of paper around. So this is all just sort of useful articles. Here's some Excel formulas that I've used a bit, stoicism in one sentence, just useful articles and things that I might want to refer back to one day. Now, a couple of the features that I find quite useful in Apple Notes is you can have a shared note. So here's one that I've shared with my wife, Haley. This is a grocery list. If any of us, either of us think of something we need to buy at the grocery store, we just add it to this list, and I can see what Haley's added, and I can add stuff as well. So during the week, we can just add things that we think of. I also quite like pinning notes here. You can actually see these notes at the top, like the groceries one I've pinned. So this is useful if, I'm sorting my notes here by the date they were updated. But there's a couple of notes like the grocery list I just want to keep pinned to the top. I always want to get quick access to them. I can do that on the phone as well. So if I go into iCloud, all my pinned ones are at the top on the phone as well. So I quite like that feature, just sticking notes to the top. And so that's it. That's a rundown of my use of Apple Notes. As you can see, pretty straightforward, nothing super simple. I'm not doing anything like the secret weapon, these big fancy note-taking systems. Really, I just have a pretty simple list of folders for the different kind of areas of my life. And basically, what I might use a physical notebook for, that's basically what I use my Apple Notes for, as well as just storing articles and reference material as well. So it's the usage of it is quite random, I would say. If you have any questions about how I'm using Apple Notes or want to share any tips and tricks of your own, please leave me a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.